we have in our budget roughly, should we seek out some of that stuff so that we can kind of guarantee rec that we're going to be able to provide them with X amount of money so that they can use it for one-on-ones, or we can see if the schools need any adaptive equipment so that we can kind of plan it so they can buy it over the summer. Now's the time that they'll be
Good.
putting in their request for budget.
I'm all for it. We're always looking for ideas of how to spend money.
How to spend
Woo! You know, and
nice.
for whoever needs the help,
Yeah.
like buying the board for the playground, for example. Roughly, we had 22,000, because I asked when I went to get the check for the board, but the board's 1,400 or whatever, so take off 2,000 roughly, so about 20 grand
Right.
should be in the account.
Yeah, so
Give or take 1,000.
I would like to make a motion that I can reach out to the schools, or actually, you're at the schools a lot.
Yeah, yep.
Do you mind doing it?
No, not at all. Yeah, I
Reach
can
out
reach
to
out
Mr.
through,
Pacheco or-
yeah, special ed through
Do-
Terry Pacheco and,
The sped director and see if they
yeah,
are in
and
need of
OT and
any.
PT also.
Yeah.
Jess Randall, who does PT, and then, yeah, the OT, I can reach
Yeah.
out to all them.
If we go to the sped director first,
Yep.
she may have some equipment that PTOT or speech or ABA has put in for,
Okay,
that they haven't been able to give.
Fine.
And then if if she has nothing, then I say we go to each discipline individually.
Yep.
Because as a school-based therapist, I can tell you if somebody came to me and said, "Oh, I have money, do you need anything?" I could
Great.
come up with 100
Right,
things
right.
for them to
Oh,
buy.
that's awesome.
yeah.
But I don't
the-
want to overlap, I don't want to overjump the sped director, because usually you put your request in through the sped director.
Oh, yeah?
So it should go through the sped director, because they kind of have an idea of, I'm going to buy this year, I'm going to buy that next year, and they may have in their head of what they're looking for.
Yep, absolutely.
Is this the same group that we bought last year, the
Yep,
T-ball? or
yeah, we
what
bought
was
two
it?
things, so we
Okay.
bought them this adaptive piece that would allow a child that was mobility challenged, so either in a chair or had difficulty in standing and movement, an ability, it could be a bat, it could be a tennis racket, it could help throw a ball, it could help kick a ball, depending on how it was arranged. It's an adaptive device that you can either place next to the child or can attach to their wheelchair, and it's really, really, really cool. And they had asked for one, and it was like under $500 or something, and we were like, if you had two, would it be better? She almost cried, and we bought her two.
That's awesome.
So,
That's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's usually something, she also did a great thing last year with adaptive field day.
Yeah.
And I think that's something else I would like to kind of discuss, that might be something that we may want to assist in sponsoring, an adaptive field day. So, working with the schools had the PE teacher at the elementary school chose like 10 kids?
Yeah,
it
it
10
was about 15, and then they
able-bodied
had
kids?
able-bodied peers that went.
There was like
with
10 or
it,
15 able-bodied
Yeah.
kids, I think, that worked as peers with her sped kids, or her adaptive PE kids, and they had a field day, and the model kids, physically able kids, worked with them and coaches,
Nice.
as coaches and co-peers. It was really fun.
Yeah.
It was
It was
such a fun day.
They did a great job. I
Yeah.
think the challenge last year, that hopefully they correct this year, is really originated in the phys ed department, not in the special ed department. So
Mm-hmm. Right.
it's really local to that school, and they're trying to do more of a district-wide
Right.
project this year. The other group that I will reach out to is the CPAC, which is just starting to
Oh, good.
emerge
Okay, great.
more, but that's the Special Education Parent Advisory Council. And so all children at Westport schools who have special needs of any kind,
Cool.
their parents are able to participate in the CPAC, the Special Education Parent Advisory Council.
Okay.
And it's like a PTO, but specific to special ed. And they've been doing great with fundraising and.
Is that local? Like, who joins at CPAC?
Anybody who's in special
In Westport
education.
only, though, I mean, or Dartmouth?
This one's specific to Westport.
Oh,
Community
cool.
Schools. So.
Bye.
But lots of good opportunity there as well. So the CPAC in particular is making a big push for unified sports.
Oh,
And so
good.
They're doing unified basketball starting in March.
Oh, man.
And they've done unified soccer in the fall. And they're because the school has been a little slower to adopt Special Olympics, which is what most people know unified sports as, is Special Olympics. The school district, given all of the things that they're trying to do, has been slow to adopt Special Olympics. So the CPAC has really taken the bull by the horns and done a good job with
Yeah,
it.
that's awesome.
CPAC.
CEPAC, yep, Special Education Parent Advisory Council. So happy to connect with them as well, because they're very active.
Good.
Even in parallel to the school, running their own unified sports programs, and I'm sure would be open to equipment and support.
Yeah, we might be able to support them
And
by
it is specific to
buying,
Westport, so it fits right within.
right, we might be, help assist them with buying, basketballs or pennies or uniform or renting gym space
Yep.
or, those kinds of.
Very cool.
Yep.
And when you said like we could sponsor the day or whatever, the field,
Yeah, same kind of thing. So it might be that we would supply
Okay.
we'd give them money to buy juice boxes or
Okay.
snacks or ribbons or
I got you.
something like that.
Okay.
I'm sure that if we wanted to physically go
Yeah,
and
this was
support,
wondering.
we could
Yeah.
do that as well, but we'd have to go and get a quarry and all that stuff
Yeah.
to be able to help out with the schools. But as a commission, we could, say, we'll sponsor you guys. So we'll buy water bottles and we'll buy the ribbons and we'll buy those kinds of things.
Do you think that we should buy a banner of some sort? I mean, we don't have any insignia, any signage, if we do go to any of these things.
I'm working on that for.
Oh,
Oh, great.
how are you working on that? Tell us.
Oh, well, I was gonna wait until you guys were done.
No, jump right in.
Okay.
Because I think that'd be great, because if we do
Yeah.
show up, I mean, it happened with me with that litter thing, we call it Team Cowie,
Yeah.
we went to a couple of different festival things to get
Yeah.
the word out, and I
Yeah,
had to,
absolutely.
it's nice to have a banner.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, obviously, this is my first official meeting, so I thank you. It's a privilege to be working with the commission. As you all know, that I am also a board member of the Westport Council on Aging, and that's really my role with the Westport Council on Aging, is bringing interest and doing a marketing campaign within the community, and now it's expanded to a regional level. And what I've been doing with them is, getting their logos together and their branding and getting T-shirts made and, and doing, like if we were to do a trade show or a field day, if you will, we can bring obviously our little tent that will have our logo on it and where we are and who we are and that kind of thing, along with promoting whatever event that we're happen to be sponsoring at that time. So we'll have general support, like T-shirts of who we are, whether it be, members or advisory committee, however you guys want to brand it. But it will have the Westport official logo, official
Yeah.
town seal, those types of things.
We just need to be careful when we do that because we are not, COA is separate. We
I
are
understand that, but this is
commission-
site-specific, not only for the COA, but we're going to be doing it separately for,
Right, I'm just saying, for us, we're a committee of the town,
Mhm.
so we fall under the town's guidelines and things. I'm just saying we need to run it by
well, yeah,
Jim Hartnett for-
everything's running by him anyway. So, we already have that in place also for the COA. Anything that we are doing is run through the town and it's approved of, and, they get copies, they will be getting copies of everything. It's not just an automatic carte blanche, we do what we want to do. It's not anything like that. And so we're working on that, on the other board. And so what I offered too is with regards to the Stroke Awareness Month that we're doing along with South Coast Hospitals Group, I wanted to have our commission be present there. And so in doing so, I realized that we didn't have anything, visually.
Separate it out, I agree.
Exactly, we don't have really anything, we don't have any brochures or what we're all about or what we're doing and all of that, marketing or media type of
We actually
thing.
have an old brochure, but I think it needs to be
Yeah,
updated.
what I read, it was outdated,
Have
so,
you seen it?
I did,
Okay.
I did, so,
We'll give you an outline.
right.
you know, that
Yeah,
we can work
absolutely.
on, you know what I mean?
And not only that, I mean, I'm looking for obviously direction and content, and that kind of thing. But, I just think collaboratively, we need to do a marketing campaign. Because there's a lot of things, like even people, when they said, Lise, how are you a part? They didn't even know a commission existed. But in the same token, they don't even know that the Westport Council on Aging exists. So it doesn't surprise me that a lot of people, unless you're using these types of committees, really even know that they exist. And we seek them out because obviously you have a disability, I have a brain injury, you have a learning disability, and other people, have their own personal insights because we need support services like this, right? And, looking at me or looking at yourself or others, they don't feel that we have a disability. They say, you look great. And I'm like, good, I matched my clothes today. Yay, woo-woo, you know. So those types of things. And then, of course, you know, taking everyone's input, you know, what are our colors, what do we stand for, you know, what's our mission statement? I did get, you know, some of the mission statement stuff.
Yeah.
But that needs to be presented. And then, you know, I've been asked to speak at several events as well, you know, obviously through Stroke Buddies. And along with that, I not only want to bring the Council on Aging, but I want to bring the Commission on Disability with me as well.
All right, but I think I agree with Sue that we have to make sure it's separated out though.
Absolutely,
You know what I'm saying? Like, in other words, if you go, you have to go and represent COA,
correct.
and we can go with you, you know, we can go with you, but,
Absolutely.
am I right? I mean,
I just, there are specific things because we fall under the guise of the town. So like the Board of Selectmen can't make just a logo and go out and be like, we're the town Board of Selectmen. They have to, everybody has to fall under the same guise.
Right,
So we would have to have permission to use the town seal because that's an incorporated,
yeah, but I think
Which
which
we
is
have
exactly
that.
what the Council on Aging has to do too, because they're an entity under the town as well. So what I'm saying is that anything that we do for the commission definitely goes through Mr. Hartnett. And then obviously, he gets a copy, we get a copy. He might say, ooh, I think we should do without this, or I don't accept that, even if we did it on our own. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of, you know, we're having it professionally done. You know, we use signature signs.
I like signatures.
Yeah, they're so great, and I know them personally,
Yeah,
and they
me
just
too.
give us great pricing, and they'll follow any guidelines that we want. It's just that we don't have anything.
I agree.
And
I mean,
so my thought process is,
I mean, people don't really know that much about us.
Right.
And I would like to have something,
Yeah.
whether it be a brochure,
Yeah.
if we start going out to do things in the community.
and it's not like I have a green light or anything. It's just fact-finding mission and coming here
Yeah.
and saying, this is what we have. How would you like to see the placement? Let's look at colors, let's look at, and we collaboratively do it. And then once we figure out how we want it to look, and we send it to Mr. Hartnett, he either says yay or nay, or makes his changes, and then we're good to go.
Yeah, I think the secondary piece to that is, in order to understand what we want to create, we should have a discussion around where we intend to use it, right? So I think that would be a good follow-up for maybe a next meeting with Brian about, well, what are some events that we think that we would want to go, and what
Right.
type of material would be appropriate for that event? Because
Exactly.
some would be a bifold, some would be a business card, some would be a tent, some would be a 6-foot table with a tablecloth. right?
Exactly.
And I think if we know generally, you know, maybe we want to do something at Riverdale. I know Recreation was there, a couple of other town departments was there.
And I'm looking for something too for May.
Yeah.
You know, because we're going to be doing it at the high school. You know, South Coast Hospitals Group is actually going to partner with us. I did a presentation, I think I mentioned to you guys, with the president of South Coast Hospitals and their board of trustees. So they are on board, and they're going to do a marketing campaign based on stroke awareness. And we're going to be having that whole venue between 9 and 5 on Saturday, May 3rd.
Yeah.
So that needs
So
to
that'd
be
something
put
nice
on
to
our
go to,
calendars.
But we need something.
Exactly.
Yeah, to-
And that's why
yeah.
we're doing it as well. You
Yeah.
know, I only mentioned the Council on Aging, not to get confused, and I do
Right.
keep them separate, but we're doing that as well, because they don't have that visual concept,
Yeah.
you know, to be out in the community. And I just think it's important, because when we do have venues like this, and people look, and they're just like, oh, I didn't realize we had, you know, a disability, Commission on Disability in
Yeah.
this board. Oh, let me go over there and talk to them, you know, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. And it will be a family event, and obviously, age demographically, you know, to hit not only families and young, and the young people of our community, but also the elders and people with disabilities as
I
well.
agree with Rick, let's wait till next meeting, because I would like to have the chairman here, obviously.
Yeah,
And we'll
absolutely.
bring it up, and
Yeah.
we'll make a decision on, like you just said, what kind of,
Yeah, because scope, budget, all that.
and
yeah.
budget. Huh?
Yeah.
And listen, we're talking about, you know, spending some money. Don't forget that we have talked to Dana and offered her another $5,000.
$5,000.
So,
Right, so we just gotta, that's why I just.
I'm just saying, if you
Remind
guys
what we
offer
need.
somebody 5,000, and somebody else,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
just keep that in mind, you know, within that, so we're down to like 15,000 maybe if we give,
Yeah, I think at this point it would be, you know, ideally, what we want to get into is a mode where we're accepting, you know, essentially grant solicitations.
Mhm.
So we're not having to actively go out to all these stakeholders and say,
Oh,
what do
okay.
we need? Instead,
So you're just looking for like $1,000 grant?
I
or a
think if
couple-
we, yeah, if we can build enough awareness, and part of it may be through the marketing, but if there's awareness that Commission on Disability annually has some funding available, then these different groups within town can get in the habit of submitting a grant request. You know, we've got students who need this, or we've got a town department that needs that. The request is this, the budget's that, you know, and then we vote on a grant approval as part of our group. So I think that would be ideal.
I did talk to Dana, by the way, just to see if she needed the money, and she's gonna be looking into, same thing, hiring, you know, an assistant, an aide to help her with, Dana does the recreation department, and she has many programs, and she'd like to have an assistant that will help children with disabilities or whatever, be part of all that, you know, so we gave her money last year, we gave her 5,000 last year, and she spent it very well, and so we offered her another
You personally,
5,000.
let's be honest.
No, I'm
You
I was
just-
so
tasked,
generous.
with talking with her, so I said, would you need some money, and she started talking about that. Listen, she also brought up the playground, she was very concerned about the playground on Gifford Road, because they want to start getting to work on that, but you know, I don't know if you've been by there, there's a ton of construction
Yeah,
material there,
Right.
and she doesn't know when, you know, they wanted to start this spring, she doesn't know when that's gonna be moved, I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know what to tell her, I said, well, you know, keep us in mind if, again, we had bought a swing that was accessible for children with disability. And so I told her if they want something like that, or a board, you know, a communication board for that playground.
Yep.
We'd be open to that as well, so.
And Steve and Lisa, just so you're aware of where the money comes from, it's essentially all of the handicap parking fines in town. So when somebody inadvertently parks, hopefully inadvertently, in a handicap spot in town, they receive a fine, that fine goes to our commission, and that's where the budget comes from. So it's one of those fortunate, unfortunate situations of,
Right.
we would love to not have budget because it would mean that people are parking appropriately and leaving space, but when they make a bad decision, we can at least spread the love around town.
I believe the town also gives us $1,000 every year.
Yeah, it's modest, though, I think.
Yeah,
It's very modest.
Most of the budget.
And with regards to that, if there is someone who does want to donate, are we allowed to take donations?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if we have to be careful about whether we can take donations directly to this department, or if it has to go through the town. There's a way that we can do it through the town account.
Yeah, I believe it has,
I think there might be a line item that says
Hello?
gifts and donations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so, because I know that they have that.
it typically has to go through the town account.
You gotta write the check.
With
to the
a
town.
Yeah.
memo that states
And then
that
there's a
it
line.
should be allocated.
Deposit in your account.
But then the
Okay.
selectmen or the finance has to vote to allocate it to that, yeah, so.
And I did want to ask the commission if they would consider also donating to stroke awareness for the month of May. I know that Brian had wanted to donate earlier, and we weren't set up for that, so now
Okay.
we are. I think it would be important to have them as a sponsor.
Do you want us to come up with the amount, or did you have something in mind?
I think I'd like to look at what we have as a budget, and
Okay.
then maybe.
Come back and let us know what
Yeah.
you might need
Yeah.
to supplement it?
Absolutely.
That'd be great.
That'd be wonderful.
That'd be great.
Yeah, and I
I
think just
missed
for,
that part, sorry.
I'm sorry. Stay
Wow.
with us or don't stay with us.
That was my mother called.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You know, I got a 96
She's
show. now, so my
94,
heart goes
so
out to- I know.
When she
God bless.
calls twice in a row, I get an
You
answer.
got me started on those security cameras inside.
I
I
know.
put 2 for my mom. Boy, does that make a difference.
Uh-huh.
She loves it, you know, because I talk to her through them.
That's
Oh, I
fine.
like it, then, whether you're watching me.
so to keep
Anyway.
everything above board on that, then you wouldn't want to come in and make a motion to do it, because it's a self-serving motion. So what you would want to do instead is to put a proposal in place to say, this is the program, and this is the amount, and this is what it would support,
Yeah.
and then exclude yourself,
Yes,
and then we would discuss and vote on that. And just in terms of kind of getting the governance part of it right, you don't want to get
Yeah,
caught
yeah.
up in a conflict of interest.
yeah, I agree.
But that's how we would do that.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate that.
Thanks, Rick. That's a good point. All right, so we'll put all this kind of stuff for the next meeting, and we'll discuss it when Brian's here in more detail, okay?
No problem.
Okay, cool. Any other thoughts here? Oh, I have thoughts, but anybody else have any kind of thoughts? Anything else they want to say before we?
I have a question with regards to disability awareness.
Mhm.
Do we have any days or months or anything that we do special events for the commission?
No, we don't.
There isn't.
And I don't know if there's a National Disability Day or something, but it'd be nice to coordinate with that.
All right, I can look it up.
But Would you check that out
Yes, I
for
will.
us? And I would love to do something like that.
Yeah,
Of course, I'd like to be all prepared with that, you know, that's when I'd like to see the banner.
Yeah.
And, you know,
absolutely.
the other thing, we also, before Brian was here, they gave us some business cards, but you had to fill in your name on it. I really didn't like that. You know what I'm saying? Did you
should
get
have
those
some
business, it was like
printed.
Commission on Disability with a line, and then you put Martin Cons. I
Yeah.
think it'd be nice to make some cards too, or something, no?
Again, you have to go through,
Come on!
because if they do it for Commission on Disability, they need to be able to do it for finance, they need to be able to do it for assessors. they
So
need
we're
to
gonna
be able
ask
to do it
Jim?
For school committee.
Yeah, we
And
have
I'm sure there's a protocol about
Yeah,
what,
we have one. Yep, I got
about
it.
what can and can't be done.
Yep.
Um,
I know that.
Because you don't
You know,
wanna, how many do
There's
you
certain
want?
people in this country who are doing things without having to go through certain
understand.
boards. Are you aware?
Ask for forgiveness,
Yeah.
not permission.
You get that slap on the hand, right?
Thank you, Sue. No,
No.
thank you.
I'll
Yeah,
look
that's
it
probably a good point. But there was, my
There
point is, I
is.
thought it would be okay, because there's already cards out there.
Right,
I just don't
because
like
they're
them.
blank, and you could fill it, I can fill out mine, because in 6 months, when my commission is up,
Yes,
and we've already just purchased 500 cards
yes,
that have Sue Sherman on them.
it's a waste. So just leave it the way it is,
I'm
Well, you
not
could
saying
do
that,
it-
I'm just saying that we just need to
You can do it
talk about it,
for
follow the
less,
protocol of what it is, that's all.
okay.
and you can do it for the least amount too. They also have it where you can do 50, 100, whatever, and they're nominal.
I'll buy you some for Christmas.
I used them a couple of times. One with a name. you put a
Okay,
name in.
I'll find out.
I mean, I just,
Yeah, it looks more professional.
it does, and when you go to different events, I just think it's nice to have, or whatever. I'm always asking for,
And the other thing too is, which was brought up to us, is we can always do a digital one. And those are approved by Mr.
What-
Hartnett as well.
what's a digital one?
It's a digital card, so if you were to do an email, you could just take a
Oh.
digital card
Oh,
and
take it
attach
like
it
a
to an
snapshot
email.
bar?
And you can send it that way as well.
Okay. Speaking of digital, Rick takes care of our website, and so what can you, can you fill us in on what's going on with, like, there's a new website or something?
There will be,
Okay.
I'm on a list. This is essentially where it's at. Carol Freitas from the Veterans Department is leading the effort internally within the town to move to a new hosting provider.
Yay.
So,
Well, it'd be nice to, we have somebody that we can go to. We never even knew who to go to before.
yeah, in whether that's the permanent go-to or a temporary kind of project management go-to, it's unclear at this point. So I'm on a list. They're going to have training in the near future
Okay,
about
cool.
the new system they're moving to, and yeah, more to follow.
Well, I've got your attention. Can I ask you if you, I went to, you remember guys from last meeting, we wanted to collect Lee's Supermarket receipts, and I talked
Oh,
to
yeah.
Ace Hardware, and they said, yes, they would take a
I
box.
need to get that.
Oh,
And I
okay.
found a box, and I'm not even gonna say this, because Sue's gonna say, well, you gotta go through the proper channels. I donated the $16 to buy it on Amazon, because I didn't wanna go through and get a check through, you know what I'm saying?
That's
Is
okay
that okay?
to do, yeah,
No, I'm just kidding. Sue.
that's okay to do.
So anyway, it's a nice bright red box, a metal box, like a, like a mailbox, and
Yeah.
Signature Signs, who I also know
I
very well.
love them.
I went to them and they said, oh, we'll write on there, drop your lease receipts here. And then I made just a basic poster, and so that's up at Lee's. What I wanted to ask you, Rick, could you put it on the
At Lee's?
website?
At Ace, right?
They're
I'm
at
sorry,
Ace.
at Ace.
Yep.
Could you put that on there?
Yep.
And I also wrote to Shorelines, Ted, who I know pretty well, the editor there. I said to him, would you do a little blurb saying we're now accepting Lee's receipts at Ace Hardware? So he said, yes, I'll be glad to put that in.
Absolutely. I'll get that.
Thank you. Thank you. Just to get the word out, eh? All right, so is there any other business that anybody wants to bring up at this point before we talk about the next meeting?
Yes, I do. I just wanted to bring up.
This is your third time. You only
I'm
got 3 times. No, I'm only kidding. Go
Sue,
ahead.
can I say something?
It's wide open.
You do you, Lisa.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to let everyone know that we're going to be doing a cable series. I was awarded a series of tapings to highlight
You mean the local?
local and regional
Oh, yeah.
for cable,
Mm.
to talk about anything to highlight Westport.
Okay, who's doing this?
Cable, regionally, and for
Lisa.
cable Westport.
I know, but what group is doing this?
I've
Stroke
been-
Buddies is
No.
doing this, or who's doing this?
I'm doing the interviews. And it's really to highlight, I wanted to do something that highlights different organizations, businesses, all of that.
But wait, I
With
want to be
regards-
clear, you're doing this on your own, or you're
Yes.
doing it as part of the commission, the council on aging?
No, I'm doing it on my own.
Okay, and you're looking.
But
to do-
obviously, I'm on the board. but I mean.
Yeah, but this
I'm-
has nothing to do with that. You just decided,
So you're
Bring-
representing yourself?
Yes, as a resident of Westport,
and you want to highlight,
I want to highlight
What's happening in
different,
Westport.
yeah, what's happening, as a matter of
Great.
fact, that's, yeah, treasures, hidden treasures of Westport.
I like it.
Yeah, so it's going to be about the beach, it's going to be about why we go to Lee's Market, or.
Are you going to do interviews and all that?
Yes,
Okay.
and we're going to be doing on-site, like, for instance, we have a police officer that has a dog that's a comfort support dog that goes out on different calls and different things like that. So we're going to, interview Eric Latender, who actually
Oh, I know.
has a
I know
training school
of
for
Eric. Yeah,
dogs.
Sure, he's good.
talking about, it might be important to, seek those types of services out. We have we have a Bow Wow camp, if you will, here in town, and people don't even know that they have, a canine camp for little campers. My dog went to camp with, locally, just hidden gems that we have here in Westport that people are unaware that.
So you'll highlight the
Fair.
Commission on Disabilities, is that what you're saying? Would you
I'd
interview
have
them all?
whatever anybody wants to, like even Susan talked about, like her little groups and things like that, if they wanted to bring awareness, your playdate thing. Let's see what I have here.
You mean the CPAC and all that kind of stuff that Rick was talking
Yeah,
about?
but
Yeah.
no, she was talking about adaptive field day.
Yeah, that's through the school system.
Right,
So, yeah, that would be through,
Yeah.
your,
but John,
contact the-
but that's where actually all the tapings are done at the school and different things like that. So,
yeah, that would be through Terry Pacheco. She's the adaptive phys ed teacher at
which is
the
fine. I'm just thinking about any type of visibility that we can give to Westport, so that people don't, there's so many things that people don't even know exist in Westport.
Mhm.
And I think it's a way just to kind of get that information out there.
Sounds good.
All right, I'm not going to
You
interrupt
done?
anymore.
Are you done now? Just kidding. I love your energy. This is what, we need that. We need that.
Well, I want to do fundraising. I don't know the do's and don'ts, so I'm really going to tread lightly and
Mhm.
take direction from all of you, just so that I don't make a mistake. And
Yeah, just don't want to get in trouble, that's all.
no,
Nobody wants to get in trouble.
Listen,
Absolutely.
she held
cons, frauds, and scams.
what was that, over at White's, right?
That
And
was
I
White's
I was so
Westport.
impressed. I mean, she had all kinds of people there. She had
We had all the
the
local,
Attorney General there, right? I mean,
Yeah. we had
the DA.
the DA.
District Attorney, I mean, and you had different police departments, and I thought it
All
ran very well,
Awesome.
Yeah, we had over like 120 people there,
Crazy.
which was really great. Not only that,
I mean, for a first time, that was pretty good.
exactly. But now it's more like a regional thing,
Yeah.
like I have Fall River calling and Dartmouth and, New Bedford, and they're just like, what is Westport doing? Can we come and help, or can we be involved, or can we do something like that here? And it's really just sharing everyone's experiences and expertise, and
Yeah,
we all have to start somewhere, right? And I just think that, people come towards you and say, like yourself, you want to bring your gifts to the table, and you have a different take on it. I know that, Susan, you have a lot of experience, and, a lot of people in town, you're kind of like Beverly Bish to me, she's my director, and she's just,
She's just old PT, that's all.
well, she's a
An old
wealth of
PT.
knowledge, but
She's
you know what?
You are a wealth of knowledge.
But not only that, because you work for South Coast Hospital,
I
right?
am,
Okay.
I'm an outpatient rehab manager.
Okay, so that being said, I mean, I met your board of trustees and I met your president, Mr. McGreedy. Is that his name?
Yep, David, yep.
Yep, David. And all of the people that I have met during my rehabilitation from my stroke, and I still, till this day, go to the brain center every week, and my neurosurgeons and all of that. And really, it's a collaborative effort with South Coast Hospitals Group that really is on hands, even after my incident 3 years ago. And I still utilize their services today.
Great.
And just because they're doing a media campaign just to kind of like share my story, there are a lot of other stories out there that it might give someone the courage to come forward or say, you know what? Yeah, I was out of commission and I didn't feel like I counted anymore. And through my rehabilitation, now I'm kind of getting back in the game a little bit. I still can't do anywhere near what I used to do, but at least I feel valued,
Absolutely.
and at least
Yeah,
I feel,
contributing.
right. And then when I meet people such as yourself that's out in the community, and you have a title, I look at the person, because the person is who I remember. I don't remember the title. I even.
Titles are
remember-
nothing.
I know, but you know what?
Titles change
But
day
you
to
know,
day, hour to hour, right? You could
Right.
lose a job tomorrow and
it's so true. And
Just be
the
a title.
person who made me smile every day, and you're gonna laugh at this, Susan, was a lady who cleaned my room when I was in rehab. And she used to make these little animals out of my bedclothes and
Oh my God,
towels.
that's so
like I was on a
fun.
cruise.
Like on a
That's
cruise,
great.
yeah,
Like I was
love
on a
that.
cruise and I took pictures
Yeah,
and I
that's cute.
shared that with your senior leadership. They were hysterical, but I don't sometimes think like they realize the talent, you know, the boots in the field, like yourself and your team, how they impact people like myself, that's what we take away. We
Absolutely.
look at the institution as, you know, yes, they saved my life and the doctor had miracle hands that day, but it's really like the nurses and the rehab and, you know,
And the
dietary and all of that.
The house cleaning.
Yes, they
and
call me up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and they'd call me up and say, Lisa, we know that you missed your lunch today. We're gonna bring it up late. And I was like, oh, don't forget about it, honey. 5 o'clock, it was 4 o'clock. I says, I'm gonna have dinner soon. It's okay. But just to be asked, you know? And I was in the hospital for like 2 months, so it made a lot.
Absolutely.
It really did help me. So knowing that you were on the commission really gave me an insightful appreciation, not only to what you do, but being a part of
She's
what
great.
what
Well,
you bring.
yeah, I just like to be, I bring a different,
You do.
a different viewpoint of the services that are out there. And I've done home care, outpatient, inpatient, school-based.
So the
acute
girls that
rehab.
came to my house, do they fall under your team?
Not under my team. So VNA is their own separate.
Okay.
I'm in charge of all outpatient rehab services.
So
for
Dr.
Southwest.
Yin,
Pat Gannon?
Yin,
Yeah. Well,
Why-
Dr. Yen, yeah,
she was my girl.
at Southeast Rehab, yep,
That's where I went.
yep,
And then the girls followed me home from there.
yep,
Okay.
yep, so so they report up to Stacy Russo, who's my peer.
Oh,
So there's, Jen Randall is our executive director, and then there are managers. There's one for inpatient, and there's 2 for outpatient. I'm one of the outpatient ones.
okay.
Stacy's the inpatient one, I'm one of the outpatient ones, and then I take care of all things outpatient.
So Dr. Sacchetti,
Mm-hmm,
so I think he reached out to your top dog there,
mm-hmm.
because they're gonna be at, there in May. Like all of this.
That's what I just heard. I haven't heard anything about this. So it's a stroke awareness day on May 3rd?
Yep, it's Stroke Awareness Day on May 3rd. It was just actually approved last week, so that's probably why you haven't
I was
heard
on
it in the
vacation,
system.
so-
Yeah, but, yeah, and they're gonna be our, they're actually our primary sponsor. It'll be for Stroke Buddies and Friends, but really highlighting, we're actually, through my story, we're highlighting South Coast Hospitals Group as a whole, meaning all 3 sites, and what they have to offer, you know, during, and I was told that May is Stroke Awareness Month.
Great.
Yeah, May is stroke awareness month.
Yeah,
Is it?
and so it's gonna kick off in Westport for South Coast with our big event.
Great,
Nice.
Yeah,
sounds fun. I'm sure I'll be,
I hope you can come.
I've been on vacation, so I go back tomorrow. I've been off for about 10 days. So
Good for you.
Yes,
I had the flu, so it was.
Thank you.
you're
Lisa,
welcome,
thank you.
you're welcome.
Anybody else have any,
Next meeting?
Next meeting,
Next meeting is March the 24th, everybody, mark it on your calendar. Steve, we'll see you then, March 24th. It's gonna be, oh, it's right here, Town Hall Annex. So we'll be skipping over to the other building, okay? And there'll be an email coming around from Brian, I'm sure.
I will type up these minutes.
Thank you,
and get
Sue,
them
for
out
doing
to
that.
Brian,
I thought I'd have to do it, and I was like,
I got you.
And I'll make a motion to
Oh.
adjourn.
Second,
All approved.
all in favor?
I
Yeah,
We're done.
So
we are
voted.
good.